Everyone can make a beat, but not everyone can make Afrobeat. So today I'm going to be showing you guys the art behind making Afrobeat. You've heard Afrobeat, but now you're about to understand it. So let's make a beat from scratch. So guys, the first step is to get our vibe, the tempo, the type of instrument, and the key of the melody. For my tempo, I'm going to go for 93 BPM because Afrobeat usually sits between 90 to 105 BPM. So, and then for our instrument, I'm going to be using the Evolution Hollow Body Blues. This is a guitar bank inside of Contact. And then for our key, I'm going to be using C#. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go down to the drop down menu. I'm going to go to view, go to scale highlighting. Right here it says scales. I'm going to put this to minor, and then for my root note I'm going to use C#. So the first thing I'm going to do is to place my first note on the root note which we selected, which is C#, and then I'm just going to make a triad chord just like this. But then I'm going to change my snap to grid to 1/3 step, and then I'm going to take this up an octave, and then I'm going to strum the notes, drag this out like this, add the notes over here, and then I'm going to come back down to G#. So with this I'm going to make a 7th chord, so this, and then I'm going to take this to up an octave, so I'm going to bring this out like this, then bring this out here, bring this in like this, and then I'm going to come back down to an F#. So with this I'm going to do the same thing, make a 7th chord, and then I'm going to take this to up an octave, and then I'm going to strum it, for this part I'm just going to do something like this, add the notes over here, but then I'm just going to offset this notes just a bit, shorten this, drag this out. As you guys can see, I'm trying to overlap the notes because I want it to just slide through. If I don't overlap it, it's going to sound like this. So but if I overlap it, this is what it sounds like. And then I'm going to copy this over, Ctrl B, and then for this part I'm just going to switch this part up. I'm going to repeat this A one more time. I think I'm just going to take this up like this. I'm just going to add some guitar effects, and I'm going to be doing this inside of the plugin. If you're using the Evolution Hollow Body Blues bank, if you go up around this point you get some really cool guitar effects. Is this I'm going to do now is I'm just going to select all of this and I'm going to randomize it. The reason I'm selecting this is because I do not want to randomize the velocities of this. So I'm just going to hold Alt R to randomize velocity with this knob right here. I'm just going to click accept, and then moving on I'm going to get the SRX electric piano, and then with this I'm just going to go over to the presets and I'm going to use this soft EP2 preset, and then with this I'm just going to go over to the piano roll, follow the chords we already have, and I'm just going to extend this. Do the same thing. I'm going to invert the middle notes of these two, select the bass notes, hold shift, click on it and bring it down an octave just to create more depth. I'm going to take everything up an octave. I'm going to hold Alt S to strum it, and then I'm going to click accept, hold Alt R to randomize the velocities, and then I'm just going to copy this over, Ctrl B. So now that we have this, I'm going to go over to the Afrology bundle and I'm going to go to the Saturn one-shot kit. This is going to be linked in the description as well. And then I want to get a pluck. I like this. I'm going to use this. So with this, I'm going to go over to this right here, and then I'm going to bring this down, take this up, bring this down, down, down. And then with this, I'm just going to go over here, click here, Ctrl C, click here, Ctrl V, copy what we have over here. But then with this, I'm just going to hold Shift D because I want this to be plucky. So I'm just going to extend it out a bit. So this is what it sounds like. So with this, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select everything and then link them all to the mixer, Ctrl Shift L, and then I'm going to start with the pluck. I'm first going to get the fruity parameter EQ. I'm going to cut out the lows, and then I'm going to add the shaper box, and then with this I'm going to go over to the preset menu, and I think I'm going to use this timeless format 1 preset. I'm going to add delay. I'm going to use the fruity delay 3. I'm going to use the ping pong preset, but then I'm going to bring the time to 1 beat. I'm going to add Valhalla vintage verb. I'm going to set the decay to 2 seconds. And then I'm going to bring the mix to like 40%, and just like that you guys can hear how the effects has totally transformed this from sounding very dry to giving it a lot more vibe. And then moving on to the piano, I'm I'm just going to add the fruity parameter EQ, call out the lows, and then I'm going to add RC20. With this, I'm going to be using the default vinyl 3 presets, turn off the noise, add some space, and then bring the wobble down a bit. And then moving on to the guitar, I'm going to add the fruity parameter EQ, call out the lows. And the next thing I'm going to do is to add guitar rig. So with this, I'm going to go over to my saved presets, and I'm going to use this ultrasonic, clean, and loud setup preset that I have. And then with this is what it sounds like. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this delay, and I'm also going to be deleting one of the compressors. And then with this one, I'm going to bring the output to like 4 dB. I'm going to go over to the component, and I want to add replica. This is like a delay, but with this I'm going to put this to vintage digital, and I'm going to set this to ms, just like this. And then I'm going to bring this down to like say 35 ms, and I'm going to bring the feedback to 41 or 40. And then I'm also going to add RC20. So with this, I'm going to go over to the presets, and I'm going to use the Lush and Crunch Guitar 2 presets. Click accept. For the noise, I'm going to bring it down a little, and then I'm going to increase the follow. For the wobble, I'm going to turn off the stereo, and I'm going to bring it down a bit. Bring the distortion down, just like this, and then I'm going to bring the space down. Now, I don't want any EQ, so that's what it sounds like. I want to render the guitar out, so I'd have to delete the guitar rig and just free up the load on my CPU. So I'm going to go over to the master, click on this this recording right here, and then I'm just going to select what we have right here. Then I'm going to go over to the mixer, and then I'm just going to hold Alt R, click start. So with this now, as you guys can see, we already have the guitar rendered out, so I can turn this off. I'm going to add purity, and with this I'm going to use a bass that I already saved. I saved this preset by combining the A and A bass guitar and the EB rock finger. So I'm just going to follow the root notes of our melody, but then I'm going to take this to up an octave, copy this over, Ctrl B. But then for this part, I'm going to take this up an octave, and then I'm going to add a note right here. So with this, I'm going to shorten this, take this up an octave, and then copy this, bring this back here, and then I'm going to duplicate purity, and I'm going to go over to the synth, to lead synth, and I'll use this signed lead right here. And with this, I'm just going to do something very simple. I want this to be more like an ear candy stuff. It's just basically going to be a call and response thing, so I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So and then over for this part, I'm going to do the same thing like this. But then what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to add some effects, and that's what's going to transform this. So the first thing I'm going to add is portal, and then I'm going to go over to the preset menu, and I'm going to use this preset called crystals. And then I'm going to add the fruity parameter EQ, and then with this I'm just going to cut out the lows, and then I'm going to add Valhalla Supermassive. I'm going to use the default preset, and the last thing I'm going to do is to add Valhalla Vintage Verb, just to add some reverb, bring the mix level down. And then moving on, guys, I'm going to add the vocal phrase. I'm going to use this, I'm going to drag this in, put this to stretch, and then I'm going to bring this down 1000 cents, time stretch this like this. Go over to this one, make this unique, and I'm going to set the range to 12. I'm just going to take this up because I want this to play a little bit more on the high octave side. So this is going to be low, and then this is going to be high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link both of them to the mixer. Start by adding the fruity parameter EQ. Go over to the preset, set this, and then just cut out the highs and cut out the lows. And then I'm going to add the Valhalla Vintage Verb. And then I'm going to add the fruity delay 3. I'm going to use the ping pong preset, put this to 8 beats, and then I'm going to bring the wets down. And the one thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to bring this down 100 cents, and I'm going to do the same thing for all of them. Bring this down, and then this down as well. And then for this, I'm going to bring this down 100 like this. Let's move on to the drums. And for the drums, I'm going to start with this loop. And then for this, I'm going to double click, put this to stretch, time stretch this like this, and then I'm going to bring the volume down. And then I'm going to add this hi-hat loop. And then I'm also going to be adding this drum loop. But then with this, since I'm going to be adding my own drums, I just need this part right here. And then I think I need this part, so I'm going to cut this up and I'm going to delete the rest. And then I'm going to cut this right here. And then I'm going to duplicate this. I want this to play right here. Just like this. And then I'm going to go over to my Spice drum kit. I want a very heavy kick, so I'm going to use this. Like this. I'm going to go over to a new kit that I'm working on. I'll use this rim shot. And then I'm going to go over to the Afro-Logic bundle, go to the Stellar drum kit. I'm going to get a rim shot because I want to layer the rim shots. I think I'm going to use this, put this right here. And then I'm going to go back to the new drum kit. I'm going to use this click, add this right here, and add one more. Copy this over. So guys, before I play the final beat for you guys to listen, if you enjoyed this video or if you learned something at least from this video, do make sure to go down there, give this video a like, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and go check out my kits that are going to be linked in the description. If you have any questions or video ideas, leave it down in the comment section and I'll do well to join you guys there. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.